Hello, this is TJ with NetPicks.com and the Trend Jumper Trade Strategy. I hope everyone has been enjoying their holidays and the last week of 2012. I know I have been. I've been out of town with my family and friends and only just returned a little while ago. And I realize I haven't really posted anything this past week, so I thought I would do something a bit different in this video. During the holidays, markets are very slow with low volume as most people have their attention on other things, myself included. But just because the volume is low doesn't mean that there are not excellent profitable trades to be had. On the contrary, I found that there was some great movement in most markets this last week of the year. Since I'm just firing up my computer for the first time this week, I thought I would do a couple things on this video a little bit differently. First, I want to roll back the charts to this past Monday to start the week, Christmas Eve. Jump over to the crude oil chart here. And then we're going to begin on the right edge of the chart and see how Trend Jumper fared throughout the week. And I'll think through the trades and I'll post them into my spreadsheet just to update my own trade log and keep my crude oil results up to date. And then while we're doing this, I'm going to use the new Trend Jumper Pro calculator. I'm going to show it to you guys for the first time. We're really excited about this. You know, while I believe it's probably best to learn Trend Jumper with a basic calculator since it makes you think about what you're doing, I do believe that once you've mastered the strategy, the Pro Calc is going to be calling your attention, and it's going to make trading the Trend Jumper a lot easier. You'll see why in a moment. Our genius programmer, Will, has done it again and created a great trade tool. It's got all the Trend Jumper intelligence built right into it. Not only that, but it gives us additional tools. And it really allows us to capture the spirit of what the Trend Jumper is trying to give us as a strategy. I've tried to teach you this as we've been going along in the Owners Club and with the trainings, but I realize that trading can be difficult. It's a lot to think about while the markets are moving. And so we've been able to build some of these ideas into this new calculator and ultimately reduce it down to being able to make mechanical trades just by following the dots on the chart. Over the past few weeks, I've received all kinds of emails. Many of you are thriving with the Trend Jumper and loving it. Some of you are clamoring to get on board. The waiting list, I realize, has been growing and growing. So I'm looking forward to a new release at some point coming up this new year. Some of you are just getting up to speed and beginning to see the power that this profitable strategy packs under the hood. And I'm excited for you guys, and I'm here to help you, and hopefully videos like this are going to help you move your learning curve along. Then there are some of you, unfortunately, who have been struggling and can't seem to crack the code, and I want to encourage you to not give up, because this is truly a profitable strategy, and it works across so many markets, and it's really quite easy to learn. But like anything else that's new, it takes time. You have to go through the motions and the repetitions and give it a chance to sink in. Once you get it, it's going to be like riding a bike. It's something you'll never forget, and you'll see how easy it really is. But this new Trend Jumper Pro calculator is definitely going to help everybody a lot. So let's click through the crude oil futures chart for this unusual holiday week, and we'll find out together how our basic model Trend Jumper trade plan fared in this model market, crude oil. Crude oil being one of our favorite and most effective day trade markets. And then while I do so, I'll think out loud and I'll kind of consider the context of the market and the key level adjustments and the things that we need to think about, and hopefully that'll help you grasp the Trend Jumper a little more. And if you're already grasping it, help you kind of drill down a bit and get to a higher level, or at least open the door for you to realize that this is a trade strategy that is quite simple, but also has all the complexities necessary to tackle the live markets in a profitable and efficient way. So let's get started. So on the right, you can see December 24th, Christmas Eve. Not a day I personally want to trade. Like I said, I want to take this week between Christmas and New Year's and decompress. For me, it's a good time to just get away from the markets. But there are some trades to be had. This plan starts at 8:50, and at 9 o'clock, you can see very few trades up until 9 o'clock, indicating how slow the market is. The first trade appears right at 9 o'clock, and it's at 88.56. That's the entry, and it's right on top of our yellow line here. So we're going to make a 1 tick adjustment, and we'll get in at 88.57. And if we go to the middle target, 15 ticks or less, we'll go to the middle target. It stabs up and hits the first target, gets as high as 68, so it's gone more than 10 ticks, and for me that's my requirement. It has to hit that money management level, which in this case is the first target, but also go 10 ticks or more, and at that point I'm going to lock in a tick of profit. And the calculator knew that. You could see it's buried inside. You can't really see it because blue on green, but you could look here and see that it moved the stop up to 8857. But I made the 1 tick adjustment and got in at 5.7. It went up 10 ticks or more. It actually went 11 ticks for my entry. And so I'm going to lock in a tick and move my stop to 5.8, mainly because it's the holidays. And I just want to be stingy. I want to cover the cost of my commission. And you can see it came down and stopped out. And I'm going to pause the video, put that in the spreadsheet, and mark that as a 1 tick gain. Okay? Now, the other thing to consider is because the markets are so slow, I really am going to limit my trading. I'm not going to overtrade this market. Hopefully I'm going to be able to get to my goals within the next trade or two. Okay, so the next trade setup canceled, and the next trade setup was this one right here. It was a short, blue trade, 88.39 to 88.24, moving everything down to the third target. It just barely touched it, and then it turned around and came right up and stopped me out. And my stop was at 8851, so I didn't need to make any adjustments on that. And put that in the spreadsheet, and it is minus 12 ticks per position. So now I'm down 24 ticks here, was up 2 ticks here, so I'm down 22 ticks on the session, looking to get positive. And that leads me to this next trade right here, the yellow trade. Now I like going short. I've got the yellow line expanding away from the pink line. Pink line is beginning to decline down. It's a little flat, but indicative of the choppy trade action. Still, I prefer going short below these lines versus long. I'm going to get in. You can see that the low is at 88.48. So unadjusted, the old calculator would have put our entry in at 88.46, the 2 tick breakout. You can see here the calculator was able to make the key level adjustment for us and moved it down to 44. That's still a 4 tick breakout, so I'm going to keep that in mind, and I'm going to go to, all right, so on this trade, because I don't get short at 46, I get short at, I may always make the adjustments around the 5s. All of a sudden the middle target is 14 ticks away, so I'm going to go to the third target on this. All right, we'll click through, hit the money management right here, locks in a tick of profit. You can see it. And I was able to hit that third target. So that was good for 19 ticks. And I only need a few more ticks to turn this into a profitable session. And of course, trailing the jump line 2 ticks above. 88.39 was the final exit. Now, I'm always going to adjust 39 up to 41. So I actually would put this in at 41. And that was only a 3 tick gain, and after putting it in the spreadsheet, it brought us back to break even, back to 0. So these 3 trades ended up getting us to break even. However, if you count the adjusted stop here, or maybe the adjusted entry as well, you can make an argument that the system would have been positive, and it's Christmas Eve, and I really don't want to take any more trades. So I'm going to take this as a net break-even session, and that's going to be the end of this session for today. You can see there's another long setup right here, but I'm just not interested. There's hardly any action. It's already 10 in the morning. There's only been just a few bars. So, why force it? Christmas Eve, the last thing I want to do is go into Christmas with a losing session. And remember, this is a day I wouldn't have even traded. So let's jump forward to December 26th. In fact, looking forward, you could see there were very few bars for the rest of the session. And that's pretty obvious, wouldn't you say? So here's the day after Christmas, and we're starting at 8.50. You could see crude oil is definitely on the roll here, and the first trade setup comes right here at 8.51. The entry's at 89.41. When I look over to the left, I see that there is a little spike, a little double spike up here at 42. So I'm going to make a 2-tick adjustment, and my long would go in at 89.43. So I'm going to type that in. 89.65, definitely more than 15 ticks. So we'll be going to the middle target on this one. And it zooms not only to the middle target, but to the third target as well. Notice the trailer is trailing the way it's supposed to. So the second position is trailing. And getting a really nice ride here. You can see add-on positions. The Pro calculator is not going to track the add-ons, but it will point them out to you. So if you're interested, it's not part of the trade plan. You can see that would have been a full winner. If you're trading that with 2 positions, you'd still be trailing now both these trades. Even more, but the trailer's still going from the original trade, you see? And then finally it stops out right here. The jump line was at 71. 2 ticks below that, 69. You could see the active stop was at 69, and it stops out. And so when I put that into the spreadsheet, the first position came off with 22 cents, 220 bucks. The second position trailed all the way up for $1.26. That's 1,260 bucks just on the trailer. And remember, this is the day after Christmas on a low volume day. Pretty exciting session. And again, through the holiday week, I would typically want to be done. I don't need to fight for a second winning trade. I mean, who wouldn't want to finish their session up $1.48, 1,460 bucks on one trade? So I'm done today. I'm one and done. Let's go to the next session, December 27th. All right, so here we are. This is yesterday's session. Some nice trades early on. You see some good winning trades, but we're waiting for 8.55. It actually happens right here. But look how much time passed between this bar here at 7.57. Only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 bars to get us to our start time at 8.59. That's very unusual. Again, a super slow market. The entry is at 91.28. You have a spike up here at 91.32. I'd have to make a 5-tick adjustment. That's more than what my trade plan allows. So I'm going to have to take the entry right here at 91.28. Going to the middle target, 91.44. That's more than 15 ticks. And you could see it hits the money management level. The stop has... we have to do this one manually because the strategy is actually still in this earlier trade right here. Okay, so the Pro calculator is following this trade, but our start time has us following this trade. So we still have to know the rules of the strategy. And when it gets to here, we'd be locking in 1 tick. It stabs up, and it actually gets to our full target at 44. So it's a full winner for trade number 1. That's 16 ticks. We move our stop up to 29 to lock in a tick on the trailer, and it actually comes down and stops out for 1 tick gain. Now, if you're one and done on a holiday shortened week, you'd be done. If you were looking for one more trade, trying to get power of quitting 2, you'd still be having to trade, obviously. You've got this jump trade set up right here. Now notice this trade is not yet canceled. And you see the entries going all the way across. You see the stops going all the way across. You also see a newer setup. Okay? Now that newer setup, those are often excellent trades. But the simple basic trend jumper trade plan we follow is to stay with the earlier setup if it hasn't canceled. Both of them would have triggered in. So this is the trade we're going to go with. Comes down, hits the money management level. Definitely going to the middle target, over 15 ticks. And it stabs down and hits that full target. And that was actually good for 23 cents. Once I put that into the spreadsheet, you can see the trailer coming down, trailing, and then ultimately stopping out. Now, a lot of you may be wondering why the stop is below the jump line, because the stop's supposed to trail the jump line. And the reason why is because I'm using one of the cool new tools that the SST Pro calculator gives us. I've told the calculator that if I get to within 98% of my full target, and in this case it got to actually 100% of the full target, I want to lock in a few more ticks of profit. So I don't want to have it go all the way back and only get one tick on my trailer. I actually have it locking in a few more ticks. And so this actually gets out at 91.04, and of course I'm going to push that up to 91.06 and make that key level adjustment anyway, and that would have actually been the correct place to exit. So 26 cents on the second trade, and it's a 43-cent session. So this week has turned into an amazing week. There's only been one losing trade so far, and extremely profitable, even though it's been slow. So let's see what happened today. Scroll forward here. See, there's a lot of good trades left in the market yesterday. All right, so we're trying to get in again at 850. Here we are at 850. There's a long setup, and it cancels. Now there's a short setup, and that one cancels. Okay, this is in that squeeze zone between the two lines, the yellow and the pink line. Those are trades you kind of don't want to have to get involved with anyway, but we didn't have to do anything except follow the dots. The system canceled itself. It stayed with this setup until the market conditions changed. The rules canceled it. You can see the setup disappeared. Same here. And I know this is something that's going to be important to a lot of you, is just knowing when the setups cancel. And it's pretty nice that it's built in to the Trend Jumper Pro. So we're still looking for the first trade. Here's another setup. It stays valid. Several bars. You get another setup, but the calculator is just going to show you that one. We're going to stay with the earlier one. And they both end up canceling. So look how late we are in the session. I mean, it is Friday. It is probably the last full session before New Year's. Monday's New Year's Eve, of course, a shortened session. And the markets are very slow again. And choppy. This trade set up for one bar and then canceled. Notice that the setup went away. So still no setups, and we're already more than 2 hours into the session. Alright, so here we have a new setup. This is a jump trade. It's not till 10:17, and that one does trigger in, and it turns around and stops out. And I did make, let's look at this for a second. It's getting us in at 90.99. If we look to our left, there's a spike down at 98. So when that happens, you want to make that adjustment to 97, 2 ticks. And so that one then also turns around and stops out at 91.11. So that one's going to lose 14 cents. So it's our second losing trade of the week. It took 2 hours practically, or an hour and a half, to get to this trade. And now we have another trade, and this one's at 10:42 this morning. That one triggers in. 91.11 going to 91.26. 15 ticks to the middle target. It stabs up and hits it. And you can see the third target is reached as well. And again, I just want to reiterate, you can go to the basic Trend Jumper strategy, exit your trades at the third target if you want with crude oil. This is just one of those markets that I'm a little more flexible with my targeting, either going to the middle target or the third target. That one grabbed 15 cents. I still need to make up for the second position. You can see the stops moving higher, and the stop does come off at 91.17. And so that one only got us 6 cents. We're still a little bit behind schedule here. We need one more winner, and we get the short here at 10:59. It's only the third trade. It's already 11 a.m. in the morning. It does stab down. It does jump all the way through. It's able to get to that full target. going to the middle one, 90.99, and then the trailer gets us even more. You can see the tools working really great, following the jump line, and ultimately stopping out right here. Notice the jump line's at 74, the stop would be at 76. Here's the stop at 76. Price comes up, gets as high as 76. Now, in reality, if I was trading this for real, I would notice there's a new little spike, and instead of putting my stop at 76, I would go above it, and I'd put my stop at 78. So I'll make those little adjustments and try to stay in the trade. The calculator still, there's always 5% art to trading, and as much intelligence as we build into the strategy, you still got to pay attention to what's going on. If you got out at 76, that's fine. If you stayed in, you would have been able to move your stop lower and ultimately come off of this reading on this jump line right here at 68, and you could have moved your stop to 71 and picked up 5 more cents. But I'll go ahead and put it in at 76, and that trade was a really great trade. 18 ticks to the middle target and 41 cents on the trailer, and ultimately today ended winning 2 out of 3 and 52 cents. And the week, after putting these trades into the spreadsheet, ended up positive $2.43. That's $2,430 on just a handful of trades. Only 2 losses. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 trades. Trend Jumper won 7 out of 9 trades, $2,430. Santa Claus was truly generous to us, even past Christmas this year. And that's a look at the Trend Jumper. That's how the Trend Jumper looks. I know a lot of you are going to be excited about the Trend Jumper Pro calculator, so be on the lookout for that and details on how to get your hands on it. In the meantime, I hope everyone has a very happy new year. Check back again. I'm going to cover some Forex charts next. This is TJ with the Trend Jumper trading system at NetPicks.com.